What the heck is going on, guys? Welcome to your 11th video, and in this tutorial what I would like to do is I'm going to show you guys how to arrange all of those patterns into your final song or your final playlist. And also, if I have time, this is probably going to happen in the next video, but I'm going to show you guys how to include external sound effects or external sound bites in your file. So let's go ahead and check it out by first opening the playlist. And of course, to do that, we click this button up here, and boom, our playlist pops up. Now before I get adding all my patterns, I want to show you guys that I actually created a few new patterns just because I was getting kind of sick of the same, kind of melody over and over. The first pattern I created is this wobble. Then this kick right here, that's my second pattern. Then I made a hat. And this fourth one is really simple, it's just one kick on the very first beat. Alright, so easy enough. So let me go ahead and add this wobble to the playlist first. So again, this is the wobble. Alright, so now how do we get this into the final song? Well, the easiest way is just to make sure it's selected from your playlist or step sequencer, and then there are a couple of different tools we can use to add it to the playlist, which, like I said, is your final song. The first one is this draw tool right here, and this is the pencil icon. Now whenever you click on your playlist, it adds one measure. So we can add one right there. Of course, anywhere we click, it's going to add. And just like before, we can move it around or also right click it to get rid of it. So go ahead and add that, and of course you want to move it around to make sure it's at the very beginning. But the reason that I don't like this is because typically you want to add multiple measures at once or multiple patterns at once. So I want this to loop throughout my whole song. So if I just drag, that's not going to work. So that is why I like this tool. I always prefer the paintbrush tool. This one, as you can see, what I'm about to do, if I click down on a track and I drag it, then it's going to allow me to loop that pattern, and it paints it rather than having to click it a million times. So now, again, make sure you move it all the way to the left, and just like the piano roll, you can zoom in to make sure that you're moved exactly where you want it to be. So now if we go ahead and switch to song mode, right here, we can go ahead and play the song. Alright, sounding pretty freaking good, but around the fifth measure right here, that's where I want the kick to come in. So you can either A, switch to the kick right here and then you paint your kicks on, or the drop down menu I prefer is just this one right here. This is basically saying what pattern do you want to paint. Now we already did the wobble on track 1, so let's go ahead and add that kick pattern to track 2. So I'm going to change the kick, and I'm going to paint that on the fifth measure and also just drag that out, and that looks pretty good. So now let's go ahead and stop, so we go to the beginning and also play it, and this is our song. And it keeps looping like that. So now what I need to do is I want to add that hat. Now let me just go ahead and add it on the seventh measure. So now again, let's go ahead and see what we got. And I also want to have this kick 2 ready because I want a good place to put that. So I want one right there, and the timing was a little off, and I probably want one right here, I'm feeling. Yeah, and one right there. And one right there. Alright, so that is basically how you can use the paintbrush tool and also the draw tool to add multiple patterns to your playlist. Now remember, I prefer the paint tool, and to be honest, there isn't that much to making a very basic song. You just select what pattern you want, and then you add it on whatever track you want. The only thing that I would recommend for beginners is don't put multiple, even though you can do this technically, don't put multiple patterns on the same track when you're starting out. For example, don't put wobble on this track and then don't put the kick later on the same track. It can be kind of confusing. Stick with one pattern per track for right now until you get a little more experience, because if not, it's just going to confuse you guys. And in the next video, what I'm going to show you guys how to do is something really sweet. How to bring in an external song or an external sound clip, and then we can either tweak it itself or dub over it to make like remixes and stuff like that. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.